Welcome to the Better Eye Health Podcast with Damon P. Miller II, MD. This particular podcast is an excerpt from the weekly conference calls. Dr. Miller focuses on different topics connected to the Better Eye Health program. The topic of this session is, does it help me to join a clinical trial? Here is Dr. Miller.
And today, for our new discussion, this is a more general discussion, and it's the last of the questions, the should-ask questions that I was proposing. People should be asking these questions. And the question today is it advisable, would I recommend to someone that they get involved in a clinical trial, specifically for their eyes, but for anything medical? And in general, my answer to that is no, I would not recommend you get involved in a clinical trial. I guess about the only time I'd recommend that is if you had a truly life-threatening disease, nothing was out there that could be offered to you, and the only possible chance of survival would be to get involved in a clinical trial, and then it's still a qualified maybe. But we'd have to talk. So the whole discussion of clinical trials is complicated by the fact that the nature of medical research has become a little bit controversial. Controversial in terms of how studies are set up, controversial in terms of even what, in a study that involves a placebo, what is the placebo? And I guess the simplest way to think about this, and the thing I would propose to you, is I would not encourage anyone to run to get in the front of the line for a new and unproven study. And in a clinical study, there's a very good likelihood that you would be in the non-treated group, you would be in the placebo group, and so you might go through a lot of time and a lot of effort and not even really receive any kind of treatment, so it would delay your chance to do something positive for yourself. The other reason, and the other thing that's changed about clinical studies is that in the old days, not so long ago, it used to be that it was considered that you were doing a great favor to the field of medicine and to medical research if you would step forward to take part in a clinical study. And now the clinical studies are, number one, they're mainly designed to try and get a drug on the market. There's virtually no clinical research being done for any of the kinds of therapies and treatments that I would propose as a first line of therapy for most diseases. And they're not free anymore. Very often you're paying for the meds, you're paying for the visits, you're paying for some of the lab tests, or they're charging your insurance company, and so you're paying the co-pays. But there is a huge amount of time involved, invasive studies, lab work, blood sticks, needle sticks, and possibly even paying for the doctor's time. So I'm not a big proponent of. I'm glad that medical studies are being done, and in fact most of them now are being done overseas. They're being done in third world countries. Part of the reason for that is that it's cheaper there. You can pay people a small stipend, a small token to get them involved. The bad news of that is that adverse effects from the study, studies that actually don't work out, all of that data is hidden. The drug companies are very selective about only showing you results that they think are positive and that benefit their product.
Tune in for more podcasts and other presentations. Go to www.bettereyehealth.com. There is hope for sight.